Yeah, full slate of League Two action. Not a single international postponement. You love to see it, and lots to chat about as well. There were 6 away wins in the 12 games, similar to the week before. But 3 teams got their first wins of the League Two season, and I think we should kick off with them, give them a bit of a platform. One of them, Oldham. Their first win of the season, their first EFL win for many a year, and they got it at Cambridge, which is a pretty tough place to go and win, George. And it was melon for melon.
Yeah. Mickey Mellon's son, Michael Mellon, not Mickey. I wonder if he'll move to Mickey at one point. Brought in towards the end of the window, and a player that we know has immense potential. We've seen it in loan periods in the past.
He got 13 goals for Morecambe and left in Jan.
Yeah.
13 goals in half a season.
And north of the border.
Wow.
And it was a well-taken goal as well, a kind of a nice work move in the first 20 minutes or so. Cambridge had kind of made the running up to then. Apparay in particular had a decent opportunity, but Hudson in goal for Oldham made a string of really good saves. And, in the same way, I guess, we've spoken about Port Vale in League One being due one of these. I think Oldham would definitely do this. They haven't been great at all times this season, but they put in 1 or 2 performances that definitely deserve more than what they got. And even though Cambridge will come away from this maybe wondering how they lost it because they had opportunities within the game and were by no means poor, Oldham's win has been coming.
Damn right it has. I mean, numbers aren't everything, and at this stage of the season, we're still working with a smallish sample size, but a growing sample size. But they are still interesting to point out. Underlying numbers are definitely good to know, and you'd rather have good ones than bad ones, what I've always said. Oldham, 6th best non-penalty XG in League Two, 6th best non-penalty XG against in League Two. So a top 7 team on both ends just by that metric. And yeah, there are reasons why that hasn't translated into good results, and some of it's luck and some of it is poor execution and that sort of thing. But I'd be pretty confident in saying if Oldham finish the season with top 7 numbers for XG4 and XG against, they might well be a playoff team. And this start to the season will have only been that and be confined to history. But long way to go. I want Kane Drummond to score so badly. He has, there's no getting away from it. He's missed some absolute sitters.
Yeah.
And when he ran through and had the whole half to dribble at the goalkeeper and work out what he was going to do with the one-on-one to make it 2-0, and he just hit it straight at the keeper. Poor lad. That would be really, really good to see. Now, Shrewsbury. First win of the season. They beat Barnet 3-1 in Barnet, and they win the Sky Bet surprise of the League Two weekend, of the whole EFL weekend, at a price of 4-1 with Sky Bet. Shrewsbury, the longest odds winners of the weekend in the EFL, and it's their first win of the season. And they came from behind as well, showing a little bit of character. And I suggest in this performance and this win, showing a lot to their fans that their fans have not seen from a Shrewsbury team this season, and dare I say it, last season as well. This Shrews team looked and felt fresh in terms of the lineup and in terms of how it looked on the pitch. And that's so great to be able to say. It was a 3-4-3 setup that Appleton went with. Brad Ian Vian leading the line on loan from Peterborough, added late in the window, with John Marquis kind of tucked in off the left next to him, and Ishmael Kabia on the right, a loanee from Arsenal who joined right at the end of the window as well. 2 things stood out for me with Shrews in this game. One, their ability to win the ball high up the pitch, with that front line doing really well to disrupt Barnet's build-up. I think that showed good shape and good energy as well. And it's that energy that we saw also in their counter-attacking, where they looked really, really dangerous, where they made the most of transition opportunities in a way that Shrews sides haven't done very well for the rest of this season and last season as well. They attacked with speed, and Ian Vian and Kabia adding plenty on that front. So a freshness of the playing style, good execution, and these new names as well, which add to that feeling of freshness and excitement, I think, and hope, dare I say it. And it's not just Kabia and Ian Vian, but also in goal, Will Brook. What stood out initially was a great pass forward that led to the first goal from back to front, thanks to the distribution of Brook, who played the first 2 games of this season for Leamington in the National League North, and Shrews have picked him up and he's straight in nets. Then he made some big saves in the second half when they really needed him to. Whenever Barnet put pressure on, there was Brook to make big saves. So another new face doing a good job. Then there's Tommy McDermott, maybe the one I'm most excited about. Now, McDermott's on loan from Burnley. He's a central midfield player, and he got sent off in his first game, so he missed the next 3 for being suspended. Straight back into the starting 11 here, which says to me that Appleton thinks he's an excellent player because he's not punishing him for getting sent off. Straight back in and added real spark in the midfield. Looks like a really, really exciting player. Sam Clucas playing left wing back and, well, a cross come shot, I think they call it. I think it was probably a cross. I've seen some Shrews fans backing their man and saying, well, actually, Clucas is so good technically that if you wanted to make it look like a cross and pick out the far top corner, he probably can. So let's give it to him. A big win for Shrews. They feel like they should have won against Accrington in the previous game. It was a 0-0 draw. They did right by themselves here, winning a big one at Barnet. New players, strong start for some of them. Could this be a fresh new Shrewsbury side, the one that the fans have been hoping and waiting for so long? 4-1 winners at Barnet. Sky Bet surprise winners of the week, and they fully deserved it for a very well executed game plan. The final one in terms of a first league win of the season, George, this was the battle of the winless between Cheltenham and Accrington. And I put it to you that it must be quite cool when you buy a player on deadline day. And it's unusually, it's one where you go like, oh, how have we managed to get him? He's pretty good, isn't he? Yeah. How on earth have we signed him? I put it to you that Cheltenham have had this with Isaac Hutchinson joining from Bristol Rovers on loan. Previously excellent at this level for Walsall. A real double-double candidate, I think he was at Walsall. And 2 minutes into his first game for Cheltenham, he bends a free kick into the top corner and they win 1-0.
Yeah, I think they made 2 signings like that. I think Sam Sherring, who was a centre-back for Northampton going out of this league, and then a centre-back for Northampton in League One, and then was signed as like quite a big money, good signing by MK Dons last season, but it didn't work. You know, for a team who were rooted to the bottom of the EFL to bring in the quality of Hutchinson from an attacking perspective and Sherring from a defensive one, those are 2 massive upgrades on what they had previously. And it showed, because as you said, Hutchinson scored the all-important free kick to put them 1-0 up, and despite being ahead after the second minute, despite there being protests at the game around Gary Johnson and his the way I guess he's running the club from a boardroom level.
Johnson out.
Yeah.
Was that the protest?
Yes.
Makes sense.
What do you think they were asking for something? Come on, Ali. Mind out of the gutter, please. And Cheltenham were good defensively for once, which has been a rarity recently. Accrington, you know, I still maintain if you look through Accrington's 11, there's a lot of quality in there. You know, Walton's obviously started the season well. Paddy Madden brings a bit of experience, but it is also a very young team. You know, whether it's Heath or Pye, Ward, like a lot of players, 2021, Henderson as well. And maybe their inexperience is showing because they're really struggling this season, yet to pick up a win so far in the campaign and not really looking particularly close to doing so. And to go away from home to Cheltenham, you know, a long chip for them, but to go behind early on and really struggle to land a telling blow is a concern. So huge win for Cheltenham. It's been a really good a week or 10 days for them after the deadline day and then the win here. But definite concern for Stanley because at the moment they look like one of the worst teams in the league, and neither you or I, you know, they were expected to be. Me and you were like, I don't think they will be, and it looks like they are. So yeah, I think we might have got that one wrong.
I hate it when that happens, mate. I think we might have a situation here.
Walsall.
No.
Okay.
Swindon.
Yeah.
I think Swindon might be quite good. They won 3-1 at Barrow. They did so playing slick, sexy attacking football for the 3rd game in a row. They scored a goal after completing 10 or more passes. Their first goal was a real bit of fun. And Holloway's just... yeah, he's got them playing really nicely here. A midfield 3 of Tom Nichols, Gavin Kilkenny and Darren Oldacre. I just love that exists. In 2025, where so many managers are just obsessed with athleticism and second balls, and he's gone like, no, Tom Nichols, a career number 10 that I've turned into a defensive midfielder. Darren Oldacre, a ball player playing in the sort of attacking 8 role. And Gavin Big Switch Kilkenny, who's developing into a lovely, lovely all-rounder. Drinan is in the goals because he's an attacking player, playing for a really good attacking team that's creating good chances for him. Glatzel with a nice finish here as well. The wing-backs looking good. They've got a couple of mentions already this season on the pod, Munro and Snowden. And then off the bench, On comes Ollie Palmer. On comes Princewell Ehebashaman and scores. On comes Ollie Clark. On comes Butterworth and Billy Bodin as well. Holloway's got a serious squad here. And the way that they're playing is just really, really exciting. They are not that good defensively. But from the moment Holloway took over until the end of the season, I think I'm right in saying they were the top scorers in League Two. 7 games in, 14 goals, top scorers in League Two. And they're just a really great team to watch as well. Like, it actually brings to mind, I think of the off the top of my head, it's kind of hard because we've done 9 seasons, 10 seasons of this, but the most entertaining League Two teams that have also been really good and won promotion, I think of Swindon under Wellens, when they had Yates and Doyle and Doughty, guys like that. They're probably the ones that really spring to mind for me. I'm probably forgetting one or two. And I think this Swindon team is, from an attacking point of view, certainly right up there. Long way to go, but yeah, I think we've got a bit of a situation on our hands when it comes to Swindon Town. I think you guys might have a derby or 2 in League One next year.
Wow.
Can't believe I just said that. I'm actually really sorry.
Wow. I mean, if we do go down, I'd like them to go up so that we do have that.
Yes.
So
make you feel better though, because you can tell me.
Just said I wanted that to happen.
You can tell me about your second team, Grimsby Town. They beat MK Dons by 3-2, and I don't have anything to say on this game because my notes for some reason just says Vernon.
Yeah, he's looking very good, isn't he? Playing off that left-hand side, finally fit for a kind of longer period of time. And making the most of it. Obviously, the guy who scored the one of the famous goals against Manchester United scored an unbelievable third goal here to put Grimsby 3-0 up within half an hour at Stadium MK, having done some really good work for the first goal, crossing for Zinedine Green to divert home. Good to see Kieran Green taking up that centre forwards role as Jace Cabia dropped in to kind of start the move off and send the ball down the left-hand side. It was that man, Jays, though, who scored the second goal to put Grimsby 2-0 up before Werner made it 3. And what could be better for Grimsby when you're 3-0 up than see John Mellish get sent off and make it 10-11? And you're thinking, brilliant, 3-0 up away from home, dominating the ball anyway. This is going to be easy. No. A very weird second half where George McEachran kind of cross came in and he clearly saw it late and it kind of hit him in the throat and went in the back of the net. And MK scored very late on in the game with Lemon Evans tucking it away just in injury time, but not enough time to draw level. So I'm sure Paul Warne will be pretty happy with the way that his side responded to a desperate situation at half time. Dave Artell are probably a bit concerned about the way that his team weren't able to kind of press home. Well, I mean, they got home, but weren't able to press home the advantage at 3-0 up and playing against 10 men. But even so, the display in the first half was phenomenal. And again, I think week on week, we're seeing more and more about what this Dave Artell Grimsby team could be. And that is dominant, loving control of the ball, creating chances consistently. League Two shaping up to be a really fun league this year.
I was just thinking
and
that.
Grimsby are a big part of it.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, they're 4th at the moment on 14 from 7. We got Swindon 1 point ahead of them. We got Gills 1 point ahead of them, who maintained their unbeaten record in ridiculous circumstances by coming back from 2-0 down to draw 2-2 at Bromley.
That's one of the worst penalty decisions in the history of the world, that one.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, even as a big ref guy, I have to say, penalising a goalkeeper for
getting
being
kneed
in the face by an attacker who had changed his path in order to knee the goalkeeper in the face in order to create contact was disappointing from a Bromley point of view. Andy Woodman, just by the way, if you want to see my dream response to a decision like that in the heat of the moment with the Sky cameras there after a brilliant performance that should have been a win, watch Andy Woodman's post-match press interview. It was just impeccable. No getting away from the fact that it was a really poor decision, but he just said so much quality stuff within it, such as I really like the ref. He's good as gold, actually. He's good as gold. And he's just said to me, if I got it wrong, I got it wrong. And yeah, and what else can you do? It was just brilliant. Yeah. I loved it. And I think that's, if you are on the receiving end of a bad refereeing decision, you don't have to use that anger to say everything to do with refereeing in the whole country is terrible and has to change because I'm really angry right now. You can just go, well, we play this ridiculous sport where people have to make tons and tons of decisions and sometimes make the wrong ones, and it's really upsetting when you don't get them. But what are you going to do? that's the path that he went down. George, that was 2-2. Gills, Bromley looking really strong. Cheek and Kabamba up front in particular. I think the absolute envy of the league is Bromley having Cheek, Kabamba, and then Dinanga to come off the bench. Really, really good performance from them. But it's Walsall. They're the other team. Joint top on 15 points. They beat Chesterfield by 1-0. Can you believe it? Daniel Canu doing it all, really, to put them in front. And they held on very cosily indeed.
Yeah, really good first touch. And then kind of gets a bit lucky with a ricochet from a tackle. Then a brilliant finish across the keeper to make it 1-0. And this is Walsall doing what Walsall do. They barely had any of the ball. 74% possession for Chesterfield. 427 accurate passes for Chesterfield. 93 for Walsall. I think McFadden, the Chesterfield centre-back, had 80 completed passes compared to Walsall's 93. And yet this was what they did last season. Do not mistake the lack of balls for lack of dominance, because all of last season when they were good, Matt Sadler's Walsall didn't have much of the ball. When they had it, they were effective with it. They were brilliant at getting into dangerous areas whenever they had the ball, and very, very good at preventing the opposition from creating good chances. And that was the case here, because even though Chesterfield had a lot of the ball, a lot of final third entries, a lot of touches in the box, they didn't create anything really clear cut apart from a couple of headers, which, it's one of those where a fan will think, oh, you should do better. But actually, these chances are relatively, certainly low XG chances. And when you're looking at Walsall this season, you have to look at their fixtures so far, because it doesn't tell the full story just to look at their position in the league table. They opened up with a 2-1 win against Swindon, who we've just been talking about there. You reckon they're going to go up. They then lost 1-0 away at Gillingham, who currently occupy one of the top spots in the league, as you said. They then beat Barnet, who've had an okay start to the campaign, albeit not great. They lost to Grimsby, one of the top teams in the league. They beat Salford. They then beat MK Dons, and they've beaten Chesterfield. So you're looking at the very worst, all top half sides there, or at least teams who will expect to be top half for those who aren't.
6 of the 7 that they've played are in the current top 9.
So there you go.
Most of them having lost to Walsall. So
really hard fixtures and really good results and good underlying numbers and more of what we saw last year. I have never been more sure in my conviction that whatever happened last year was just a total freak. And Matt Sadler, again, has created a really effective football team. Not going to call them the best team League Two I've ever seen anytime soon, but I'd be amazed if we see a drop-off like we saw last season.
Well, famously, takes one to know one. It takes a total freak to recognise a total freak. Newport 2, Bristol Rovers 3. The nutty games keep on coming. I watched this game. It was the early kickoff. It was live on Sky. And if you had told me at half-time Newport 0, Bristol Rovers 0 was going to end with 5 goals, I would have laughed you out of town. I'd have said, what are you doing on the sauce this early, George? It's only 1:15 p.m. Because that first half was, I would say, about as bad as it gets as a spectacle. Both teams looked like they were playing in glue. The tempo was so slow, just like stringing together 3 or 4 passes looked impossible. And fair play to Darryl Clark, because the second half for Bristol Rovers, it just clicked and Newport couldn't stop them. Now, Newport caused themselves quite a lot of problems as well, particularly with the second goal, and General just completely lost their confidence towards at the back of the pitch. But Luke Thomas was kind of the star. He scored the opening goal after the Swiss striker Caven had gone very close twice, one off the post, one well saved, and Thomas forced home at the third time of asking. Then he intercepted a bad pass from Zanev, who was put under pressure, really good pressing shape, and Thomas energetic as ever, smashing home the second. Third goal scored by Ellis Harrison. Zanev, at this point, I think had slightly lost his head, came to claim a cross and missed it. 3-0 Bristol Rovers, happy days, blitzed them. Southam Hales playing well at right back. The midfield, McEachran, Conte, Chang looking pretty good. Cruising to victory. And then Newport scored 2 goals in the space of a couple of minutes and had one decent chance, a header from Garner. Not as easy as I think the commentators seemed to make it seem. And he headed it wide. And it was 3-2. I mean, for Newport, you're excited about the cameo from Nathan Opoku, who's an attacker they've got on loan from Leicester. They got 2 Leicester loanees towards the end of the window. Sammy Braybrooke played in midfield. Looks like another sort of quite nice but undersized technical type. I feel like they've really overloaded with nice technical midfielders. but they're a team that barely has the ball at any point, Newport. So I feel like they've got players, but not a system that's giving them the platform to shine. We shall see. Opoku got an assist for Kai Whitmore, who I think has been Newport's best player this season, and then a goal as well.
Brilliant hit as well. Touch and strike.
Really nice hit. But overall, Newport, 5 straight defeats in the league. Slow and a passive team at the moment, and confidence seems to have gone already. They've got a really tough next 4. I haven't got it written down, but I know Gills are in there. I think Chesterfield are in there too. I think Tranmere as well. They have to find a win from somewhere. They can't afford to be like 6, 7, 8 defeats in a row. And they've got a couple of injuries, but realistically, to me, it just looks like a squad that's... I don't even hate the individual players in the squad. I don't think the system is suiting the attacking players. It's set up to make them more solid defensively in the 3-5-2. I think it does suit the defenders that they have, but not the central midfielders, and certainly not the attackers that they have. And they need to sort that out pretty quickly. Otherwise, the fact they were pre-season favourites for relegation will look very, very smart indeed. A good win for Bristol Rovers. Looking forward to seeing them follow it up next time out against Barrow at home. George, Harrogate 0, Crawley 1, just as you drew it up on the betting show.
Maybe not quite. Crawley finally getting the win they've deserved. Performances have been much better recently. And this was coming, albeit I kind of thought it might be a bit more comfortable than it was. The goal itself was a moment of quality from Reece Brown, who is someone we know has the quality, running off the right-hand side and firing it across the keeper into the far corner. Harrogate very nearly scored basically the exact same goal after half-time, but it came off the woodwork. And had a fair few chances in the game that they were unable to put away. Harvey Davis and goal for Crawley made a strong string of really good saves that prevented Harrogate from getting the goal that maybe they thought they deserved, and maybe the point that they would have deserved to on the balance of play. Loft sent off, and I cannot really work out why, for a second yellow where it was like a nothing foul, and then I think it might be given for him kicking the ball away, but it seems really petty, but kind of irrelevant because they went on to win the game and it made no material difference to it. So, Harrogate aside, who've maybe had games this season where they've won games and have been second best, Crawley, a team who have been good in games and come away with little. This was kind of role reversal where Crawley were maybe the ones who come away thankful for the 3 points when they possibly could have conceded at least a goal in the game. Harrogate wondering how they haven't scored. Salford beat Tranmere 3-1. First goal was a penalty scored by Luke Garbett. Very good, powerful forward run from Cisse to win that one. Omari Patrick did Omari Patrick things, racing clear to equalise, and then had a big chance at 1-1, which he didn't score. Very much not Omari Patrick things, that. 81st minute, Salford went 2-1 up, and it was a Cole Stockton goal, but Daniel Udo should get all the credit for a really good piece of centre-forward play, really strong in the air, knocked down perfectly onto Stockton on the volley for 2-1. And then the third goal for Salford was a lovely little spank into the top corner from Osama Ashley. Can I tell you a sort of little niche-y thing that I just loved with this goal and is a real sort of niche love of mine? Always.
Osama Ashley is dribbling forward from midfield. And as he's dribbling forward, he's like pointing at his teammates to tell them where they should run so that he could slip them in. And I just think that level of, like, it takes balls to be dribbling the ball while looking up and like just chatting to your teammates about what they should do, where you want them to go. I just think it shows a level of competence and confidence and aptitude. It's a big green flag for me. It's a big green flag, as was him in the end being like, you've not made the run I want you to make. I'm just going to cut in and spank it into the top corner. Thank you very much for a lovely game of football. 3-1 Salford, who I wonder if they're just going to be in that 8th to 10th range again, where sometimes you watch him and you see loads of good stuff. Sometimes you see some really bad stuff. Yeah. You look at the numbers and you're like, do you have the worst defence in the league in terms of XG against? Yes, I think you do. Maybe. And why would that possibly be? Yeah. They won against Tranmere here, who had 44-year-old Joe Murphy in goal, the oldest EFL player since Barry Richardson in 2016. Notts County, George, they beat Fleetwood. Good week for Notts. They needed it. They've got it. And a nice goal, another nice goal scored by the league's top goal scorer.
And he looks happy about it this time as well. You see Matthew Dennis with a couple of strange celebrations, but this time it was a nice kind of group cuddle, which was good.
Jata with the assist.
Jata with the assist.
That's a hell of a front two, isn't it? If they're up for it.
Really good. And good to see Keller Roos with a good performance in goal for Notts County as well. Davis and Graydon had a couple of opportunities that Roos saved really well. And Notts County, we said pre-season it was going to be really important for them to get off to a good start because of the kind of noise, I guess, around what had happened there in the off-season. And they didn't get off to a good start, but it's been much better recently with the wins against Shrews, Tranmere and now Fleetwood. Certainly those last two, Tranmere and Fleetwood, two teams that have started the season pretty well. A draw against Bromley as well, and Bromley have also started the season well. So it feels like they're kind of hitting their stride after early season struggles. Frustration, I think, for Fleetwood, who, again, have kind of threatened at times to look like a really good team in this league, but then have also conspired to kind of drop away recently. So, big win for Notts County, big win for Martin Patterson. For Dennis, they've a really good bit of recruitment that they're reaping the rewards for.
Yeah, Colchester and Crewe drew 1-1. I feel like Colchester draw every single game 1-1.
Yeah.
Honestly. When will they stop drawing games 1-1? Josh March with some nice play down the left, opening the scoring for Crewe. And then the latest episode of Ultimate Lisby, like any good TV episode, had highs and lows. We saw him score his third goal in League Two this season at the back post, but he also missed a big chance at 1-1, breaking clear and skewing his shot wide. Poor connection. Jaden Williams for Colchester missed a big chance as well. They will feel like they should have won that game, but they didn't.